So my name is Trish Lapidus, and I am an encourager of writers. I am your cheering squad. I believe that everybody has a story to tell, and that all these stories should be told. In fact, in my memoir that I wrote, this is Sweet Potato Suppers, one of the things I say in here is, let us all write our stories until we fit inside one story. And it seems to me that everybody has a contribution to make to that, and it's part of how we get to know each other, communicate, and be one people together. Okay, so there are two things I want to take up with you before we get started. One is, what is your value as a writer? And two is, what is your value as a person? And I think it's important to have some certainty about those two things. Okay, now as for being a writer, some people sometimes think you're supposed to go to school and, go take classes in writing and all this stuff in order to know how to write. But that's not true. Many of our best writers did not study writing in school. It's more important for you to simply decide that you want to write something. And as soon as you decide you want to write something, you are a writer. Okay? So you are writers. You're here. The next thing is that it isn't necessary to know grammar and spelling and perfect syntax and all that to write. What you need to do is simply talk to us as you talk. Imagine that you're sitting down to tea with me, and you're simply telling me over tea something that happened. Talk like that when you write. That's perfectly fine. So yes, you are a writer. We've got that one settled, right? The next thing we need to talk about is, what is your value as a person? I don't know about you, but sometimes when I make some little mistake, maybe I drop something and it doesn't even break, I'll say, what's the matter with me? Or I might get even more dramatic. I might say, what's the matter with me? I think we all have, at those moments and at other moments, some doubt about whether we are worthwhile people. And I want to tell you what that is about. There's two things I want you to be thinking of. One is that we have all had things happen to us that made us feel less than what we really are and should feel. And some of the reasons we want to write stuff is that things happened that should not have happened and that took from us our confidence. You know situations. You watch little children. Sometimes you watch a harried parent not doing real well with an unhappy child, and you see that child losing confidence, even though you understand the mother is, in a difficult situation or whatever. Your heart goes out to the child, and the thing is, you were that child once. You were that child once, and somebody reached out and grabbed a piece of your confidence. And I want to help you retrieve that. You're going to get that back to whatever extent you wish. I would say all the way. Let's think of ourselves as very worthwhile people. There is nothing wrong with any of us that is for any reason other than that we worry that something is wrong with us. Does that make sense? There is nothing wrong with any of us except our worry about what is wrong with us. And if you take anything that you have ever done or that anyone has ever done, and you look at it and you think, what was behind that? The largest factor will be that that person did not have the confidence that he or she was a worthwhile person and had power and affirmation and all the things that a person should have had growing up and should have in adult life too. So that is another thing I want you to keep in mind as you're writing tonight, that you are not only definitely a writer. As soon as you pick up your pen, you're a writer. You are a worthwhile person. You are important. And tell yourself that. Anytime that you begin to have doubts, just straighten up your shoulders and say, I'm important. I'm a worthwhile person, and I have something to say, and the world will be a better place because I am a writer. Okay? Excellent. So we're going to get started on the first part of the workshop, and that is the visualization, you might call it, but I don't always call it that because there are a lot more senses than the visual. Okay? So I want you to start right now and be right here in this room and see what's in this room, hear what's in this room to hear, and see if you can identify any other senses than seeing and hearing. Those are the most common, right? But how about weight? Can you feel your weight as you sit on your chair? If you were standing, you'd be able to feel how that feels on the bottom of your feet, right? If you rub your hand on the table, you can tell whether it feels a little bit oily or smooth, or if it's a table that has a lot of friction in it. That's a refined sense of touch when you notice the actual, the quality of the touch, okay? And the same with smell. Smell divides into many kinds of smells, and you can pick up on those. There are even other senses that are not so concrete, but when you walk into a room, don't you have the feeling sometimes that you know whether the people in that room are happy and doing well or unhappy and not doing so well? Don't you have a sense of that? Have a sense of that right now. Are we here doing okay pretty much? We are, aren't we? And you know that. So that's what we're going to do in the visualization, and I want you to put down your pen and pencil for now. You don't need to take any more notes. I've actually given you this on the paper so that you will not feel that you have to write this down, okay? I want you instead to sit comfortably and close your eyes. All right. Now, with your eyes closed, go to something that you want to write about. I assume it may be a past incident if it's a memoir. It's fine if it's fiction. Go to that story that you want to write about. Go to a particular scene. And with your eyes closed, look around at that scene. Notice who is there. And notice what is happening. Notice the events. Notice if it's an indoor or an outdoor place. Pick up something of the feel of the place in terms of smell.